Yo, what is up guys? It is Bumfris, back with episode 52 of our Reddit series. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be some I Don't Work Here Lady, and I know you're going to love this one. A quick thank you to everyone who requested this one. It is a really funny subreddit and I've had a lot of fun reading through these. If you haven't heard of it before, it's definitely worth sticking around to the end, so sit back, relax, and laugh at some confused store goers. Having worked at this place, which is like a gas station / cafe, for 6 going on 7 years, I was a pretty well known employee amongst the regulars. Some were cool people, but the lady in question was a regular nightmare. Most of the staff hated her. She ordered 6 large coffees every time she came in, and she was very particular with her coffee. Often chastised us when we were too slow, cut lines sometimes, and demanded respect if someone dare bring it up. She would always give one coffee back, saying it was wrong. I'm not kidding about that. I've never seen anyone not remake her a coffee. It'd become an urban store legend that one of our lazier employees changed the lids, gave it a swirl, and gave her back the same coffee like a minute later, and she left in her usual mood. Whether or not it happened, who knows, but knowing that employee, it probably did. I decided to leave, saying my last goodbyes to everyone, uniform handed in, and I leave through one of the staff doors. Lo and behold, on the other side, like a horrible jump scare, it's the nightmare lady. "Hey," she says to me, her tone authoritative, looking directly at me. I don't give her the customer service smile, and she says, "Why is your service so slow today? And why are you out of uniform? You should be happier to see me. This is entirely unprofessional." She probably expects an apology, an explanation, a free coffee for her trauma of seeing someone not wearing uniform walking out of the staff room without a bright smile to greet her horrible self. What monster would do such a thing? Instead I say, "Nope, I quit. Don't care." And her eyes narrowed. She looked at me like I'm disgusting trash, and I start walking away from her. Imagine if I'd actually sworn at her like I would under any other setting. "Where do you think you are going?" the woman asked, her voice raising, and honestly, it's the tone I now forever imagine entitled mothers using. Instead of verbally responding, or even looking back, I peace out at her with one hand, and I leave. When I get home, I find that there were plenty of messages in the work Discord. I decided to open them. Turns out, the nightmare lady had demanded to see the manager, spent 5 minutes yelling at her to fire me for flipping her off and poor customer service, refused to believe that I'd actually resigned, informed my ex-manager that she'd lost a very loyal and valuable customer, and apparently the manager just stood there and took it with nods, apologies, and a constant, "She does not work here." The nightmare lady apparently forgot her coffees too, and they hadn't seen her since. They thanked me for that and the entertainment of her screaming at the manager, who was always customer first. Damn, we're already off to an awesome start for this subreddit. I could already see the title of this video being I Don't Work Here Lady featuring entitled parents, but I ain't about that clickbait life. My parents are divorced, so at the time, we'd spend weekends with our dad and weekdays with our mum. Now, my older brother and I were prone to getting bored during these visits, where we were mostly left alone in our father's apartment to watch TV, play video games, and pretty much do anything that a 14 and 16-year-old could do. Back to the story, so whenever he was home and not doing who knows what, we would take trips to the closest Walmart. On this occasion, I was wearing a raspberry red long sleeve shirt, blue jeans, Converse, and a black jacket. Remember this for later. So as soon as we all park and walk in, my brother and I practically bolt in separate directions. We know this particular store pretty well, and we're both mature for our ages and wary of strangers, so no danger here. Me, being a young artist who's constantly going through paper, pencils, and erasers, goes immediately to the little art supply aisle. I restock on my essentials and start to browse the aisles for any other good supplies or materials that I might want to use in the future. I don't find anything interesting and start to go to the other side of the store to look for my brother and drag him back to our dad, who's probably looking at some generic spy novels. I'm about halfway across the store, texting a friend, when I notice this lady walking towards me. Not wanting to bump into her, I kind of step aside and keep walking so that we don't collide. But as I'm passing her, she grabs me by the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, miss, could you help me? I need to get a game for my son's birthday, and the one he wants is in those locked cases." Confused at first as to why she is talking to me, I just say, "Then why are you talking to me? Can't you go and find an employee?" She just says, "Don't you work here? I've seen you here a lot." And I immediately understand what's happening. She somehow thinks I might be an employee, but I don't get how she can think that, as the outfit I'm wearing doesn't match at all with a typical Walmart blue shirt, black slacks combo. I just think to myself how creepy that sounds and say, "I don't work here, dude. I'm not even old enough to get a job." She immediately snaps back with, "Stop making excuses. I get that some people come here on their days off, but I really need your help to get that game." I'm starting to get annoyed at this point, so I say, listen lady, I'm 14. I do not work here. I don't even know how you could assume that I work here because I'm not wearing the uniform and I'm not here all that often. So find someone else who actually works here. She gawks at me for a second, almost offended, and is about to say something when I cut her off and add, they wear blue Walmart shorts and black slacks, in case you needed a hint. I quickly walk away, annoyed that this woman could be so stupid. Now, I've been told I look older than I actually am, but that's mainly because I had dark under eye circles and I was larger than most girls my age. I eventually find my brother and my dad and steer them towards the registers so we can go home. We pass by the lady who was now in the middle of annoying an actual employee. She sees me over the guy's shoulder and I gave her my signature "don't talk to me" scowl that most antisocial tweens have at that age. We pay for our stuff and leave to go get lunch at a nearby Dunkin' Donuts. I don't see that lady ever again. I've read stories about random people flying off the handles at other random people who were just unlucky to be unfairly caught in the crossfire, but that day, this was simply a case of one lady just being plain stupid. I think OP summed this one up pretty well. This was just a case of a lady being plain stupid. Maybe next time you're going to assume somebody's an employee, it might be worth just checking out what they're wearing first rather than using the logic that you've seen them before, so they must work there. But you know, these kinds of people just never change. It has always struck me as odd that someone would be so unobservant that they would assume an individual worked at a store even though they were wearing the uniform of a different store. Yesterday, however, it was proven to me that some people are absolutely incapable of observing the world around them. I work for a large metropolitan fire department, and yesterday while on duty, my crew and I stopped at a grocery store to pick up food for our 48-hour shift. A co-worker and I were in the same produce department of a local grocery store, wearing uniform, badge, shirts, and our bunker gear. It could not have been more obvious that A, we were firefighters, and B, we did not work for this grocery store chain. This, however, did not stop a woman from walking up to us and asking where we kept our grapefruit. My co-worker and I were obviously a little confused as to why she would be asking us this, and the confusion must have been evident on our faces as we looked at each other, then down at the gear we were wearing, and then back up to her. Through the few seconds that this took, she remained completely oblivious to the fact that we were not grocery store employees, staring at us and waiting for her answer. When I told her that we did not work for the grocery store, she seemed more irritated than surprised, and walked away in a huff. Some people really don't have the common sense that God granted turnip. I really hope people like this don't actually exist, but if this is real, it just makes me lose faith in humanity that little bit more. I mean, come on, how do you mistake a fully uniformed firefighter for a grocery store employee? It just doesn't get worse than that. I'm a security officer, and I work at high-risk areas in the city. I often work on weekends and have several bars, nightclubs, and liquor stores that I work at. I get dressed in my uniform before I arrive at a venue because public bathrooms are uncomfortable to change into security uniform. This day was a big day for security because of a show happening at a nearby stadium in the city, in conjunction with a football game happening the same day. There were thousands of people passing through the open shopping centre that the liquor store is located in within just a few hours. I had made it to this particular shift at a liquor store about 30 minutes early because I was afraid I wouldn't find a parking spot. So I decided to sit down out of the store and listen to my music before my shift. A lady with a small child came up to me and demanded that I take care of her child while she went to the ATM to withdraw money. She said to me, "Hey, you're security, watch my son while I grab some notes from the ATM." And I just say, no. And she responds with, "Excuse me? You're security. You get paid to look after people. You have to watch my son. It's your job." And I just say, well, actually, I'm the liquor store's security guard, and I pointed to the store. Security officers do not look after people. We take care of our client's property. I'm not on shift right now, and I'm relaxing before my shift. So I put my earbuds back in and say, "Sorry, I can't help." She says, "Then you shouldn't be wearing your security uniform." She stormed off to complain about me to another security guard who is from a completely different company that was actually securing the shopping center. He and I often talked and joked during our shift and exchanged information with each other about people of interest that we see in the shopping center. Needless to say, he just laughed because what is he supposed to do about it? It's not his job either. She ended up just yelling at her kid to stay next to her while she took out money and then walked towards the stadium. I went into my liquor store and told the employees about it. We all still laugh when I bring it up. What I don't get about this is that if she was able to go to the ATM and just tell her kid to stand next to her, why couldn't she just do that in the first place? Like, is it really that difficult to withdraw cash from an ATM? I can't be that out of touch, can I? Honestly, who knows, but these entitled parents really need to limit the amount of time they spend out in public. Alright everyone, that is that for today's episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll keep this one nice and quick, but if you did like this new subreddit, please leave a like to let me know, and also don't forget to leave some suggestions for future videos. Thank you again to everyone who suggested. I'll also be doing an Entitled Parents episode directly out of our Discord server quite soon, so make sure to keep an eye on that. But otherwise, that does just about wrap things up for today. Just again, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. They are both at Bumfris. I also just want to say again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for some more Entitled Parents. Bye.